Hi there, and welcome to the Explaining History YouTube channel. Now, if you're watching this, it's probably because you had some feedback on your essay saying you need to develop the points that you're making in your essay more thoroughly. And you might be scratching your head thinking, well, what does my teacher mean? Because very often they'll write a few things down and you'll be none the wiser at the end of it. Well, they mean something like this. You've probably got a lot of good factual information in your essay. You've probably said chronologically what happened when, and you've probably used all sorts of details saying who was involved and using statistics and that kind of thing, and you've handed it in thinking that that's enough. Well, it's not really everything that's needed at GCSE or A-level, because you need to develop each paragraph that's full of factual information so that it reflects the argument that you started with at the beginning of the essay. And if you haven't started with an argument, then that's where you need to begin. And there are other podcasts and other videos in this video collection about developing arguments, so I would suggest you go and check those out as soon as you can. But let's say you've started with an argument. You're doing a question, why did, say, Adolf Hitler come to power in 1933? And your argument is because there had been an economic crisis. Okay, that's a fair enough argument to make. Now, you go through the chronology. You say in 1929 there was a Wall Street crash in America and it led to a depression in Germany. Okay, fine, well, that's factually correct. If that's simply what you put in your paragraph, then that's not developed enough, because how does that relate to your argument? You're saying that there was an economic depression. What we're interested in is how and why that has an impact on Hitler's electability. You might develop that point by saying the degree of economic desperation caused Germany's working classes to drift away from the Social Democrats and towards the Communists. Communist votes increase. Ordinary middle-class German voters feel very threatened, very frightened, and the things that Hitler had been saying previously that sounded very outlandish and outrageous and unreasonable automatically start to sound more credible. And what you're doing is you're then showing your judgment. You're showing how you're relating this back to the question. Another way that you can do this, another way that you can develop each point in your essay, is to discuss what the thing that you've just mentioned in that paragraph really shows us about the question. Let's say, for example, you've got an essay on the causes of Napoleon's downfall. And let's say that you've mentioned that he was defeated at the Battle of the Nile in 1799 and at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. And you could make a point that these two battles were the major defeats at sea inflicted by Great Britain. And that whilst Great Britain, for much of the Napoleonic Wars, didn't turn out to be a dominant land power, it was the fact that Great Britain controlled the seas that was a long-term factor in the decline of Napoleon. You might go on and expand the point again and say that what Great Britain was able to do by controlling the seas was to hold on and not be defeated by Napoleon. And if a power, therefore, was not defeated by Napoleon and could fight on, Napoleon himself would eventually be defeated. So what have we done there? We've taken a fact that two battles destroyed Napoleon's navy in 1799, I beg your pardon, and 1805. That's a fact, okay? What can we draw from that? Well, that the control of the seas was obviously hugely, hugely important, and one power above all was able to do that. We also might draw from that power, because of this, was able to stay in the war against Napoleon for a long period of time without being defeated or overrun or invaded, and as a result could wear Napoleon down. what we've done there, without going off into tangents, without talking about other things, we've assessed the significance of one factor, Britain's naval power, by making a point with facts in it and then drawing out what this shows and what this means. So once you get to a difficult point in your essay and you've said something factual, Hitler came to power in January 1933 because Hindenburg essentially allows it, he appoints Hitler, you could ask yourself, well, what does that show us? What does that show us about Hindenburg? What does that show us about the German government? What does that show us about the state of German democracy? What does that show us about, pick your favourite. You might want to also do the same process with any other kind of essay. So whenever you're asked to think about developing each point you make, think about the evidence you put in your paragraph, the logic you put in your paragraph, the facts you put in your paragraph, and then think, what does this show us? What does this mean? Simple questions, 2 simple questions that are going to really make a big game changer in your writing and your exam papers and your essays. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do remember to subscribe to this channel for more hints and tips, and I will put a link through to Explaining History below. You can follow that for all the cool stuff that's on there that'll help you with your study of history. Thanks very much, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.